student taught, and they really liked it, so hopefully you guys will. So, my story starts off with a man named Mark. And Mark is a very dedicated, hardworking man. He's a CEO of a big, big company, and he works in New York City, and he has a beautiful office that overlooks Lower Manhattan. And one day Mark was working, and the office was pretty quiet. It was during lunch, and he was sitting at his desk, and he sees a paper airplane come flying onto his desk. So can you make that a noise with me? Good job. And this paper airplane, and Mark looks around, and he doesn't see anyone. So he opens up the paper airplane, and it says Purple Ridge. There's 2 words on it. It says Purple Ridge. It's like, Purple Ridge, what does that mean? So he calls over to his secretary, Betty, and he's like, Betty, can you come in here? This paper airplane landed on my desk, and I don't know what this means. So she comes in, and she's like, what's up, boss? And he's like, do you know what this is? And she's like, no, I have no idea. She's like, what does it say? He's like, Purple Ridge. And Betty gasps, can you do that? She goes, I cannot work for someone like you. I quit. I'm leaving right now. And she slams the door shut and leaves the office. And there's a whole commotion as she's packing up her stuff. So, of course, Mark's partner hears all this, and he comes in and goes, Mark, what's going on? He's like, I don't know. He's like sitting there baffled. He's like, Betty just quit, and I had no idea. All I did was ask her a simple question. I asked her what Purple Ridge meant. And the Mark's partner goes, can you do that with me? You're fired. We cannot have you as a partner in this company. You must leave immediately. So Mark's sitting there, and he's like, what the heck is going on? I'm so confused. So he calls his lovely wife. He's so distressed. So he's like, she'll understand. So he calls his wife. He's like, I just got fired. My secretary quit. I don't know what's going on. She's like, calm down. Come home. We'll figure it out. So Mark heads on home, and he gets home, and his wife is like, what happened? Explain the story to me. So he's like, my secretary quit. My partner fired me from the firm, all because I asked what these 2 simple words mean on this piece of paper. And she's like, well, what did it say? And he said, Purple Ridge. And she goes, get out of the house. You can't be here. I can't deal with you. Do not come back tonight. So now Mark is totally at a loss. So he decides he's going to walk around Central Park to clear his head. So he's walking around Central Park, and he sits down on a bench, and he just has his hand in his head like this. And he's so distressed. He has no idea what's going on. And a woman police officer walks by. She sees the nice clothes that are all rumpled, and it's getting kind of late, and she's like, sir, are you okay? You seem like very upset. He's like, no, I'm really not. I don't know what's going on. I've had the worst day ever. She's like, well, I'm a woman of the law. Why don't you tell me what's happened? So he's like, well, it all started with this paper airplane. I was sitting at my desk, and I opened it up, and I asked my secretary what it was, and she quit. And then I asked my partner, and he fired me. And then my wife kicked me out of the house, all because I just had this one simple question. So she's like, well, I'd be happy to help you, sir. Seems easy enough. Tell me what the paper airplane said. He's like, I just want to know what Purple Ridge means. Goes the police officer. You are under arrest. And she puts the handcuffs on him. She reads him his rights and tells him he will be spending the night in jail. So Mark is totally distraught. He's trying not to cry. He spends the night in jail. His only hope now is that tomorrow morning, when he's brought before the judge will show him some mercy. So the next morning, he gets to court, and the judge is looking at his record, and he's like, this person, he's like, what's going on here? The judge is thinking to himself, this man doesn't even have a speeding ticket. And he's brought before him. I see that he lives in a nice area, he has a good job. What is going on? So the judge asks Mark, can you please explain to me what happened? And Mark tells the judge the story. He said, my secretary quit, my partner fired me, my wife kicked me out, and your police officer arrested me, all because I have a simple question. And the judge is like, well, tell me, what's your question? And Mark goes, no, I'm not telling you. I can't. And the judge started getting angry, and it's like, this is my courthouse. Of course you have to tell me. So Mark's like, I'm too scared. And the judge is like, I demand or I'm going to keep you in jail. So Mark's like, I just want to know what Purple Ridge means. Goes the judge, we're exiling you to Mexico. So now Mark cannot believe this is his life. He's in Mexico and he starts hysterically sobbing. He's on the street, he has no money, no friends, no nothing. And this man sitting on a stoop sees him. He's like, my friend, what is wrong? And Mark tells him the whole long story. And he's like, well, tell me. And Mark's like, I'm never speaking these words again. So this man, this random stranger, spends a half an hour. And finally Mark goes in a whisper voice, I just want to know what Purple Ridge means. There's silence. And the man starts laughing. He goes, ha, ha, ha. You want to know what Purple Ridge means? Mark's like, yes. This is the first person that hasn't turned him away. So the man says, if you want to know what Purple Ridge means, you must go across the street. You see that woman with a big straw hat on? Mark's like, yes. He's never been so ecstatic. He's like, go ahead and ask her. So Mark dashes across the street. A bus hits him. What is the moral of this story? Any guesses? You must look 2 ways before you cross the street. The end.